I'd like to call to order the Plan and Zone Commission meeting of today, June 16th. I hope today finds everybody healthy and well in today's current conditions. I would like to remind everybody in the audience to please turn off your cell phones as it could interrupt or affect our audio recordings. Tonight, we do not have a public hearing. We will move directly into our regular meeting agenda. That being said, roll call, please. Commissioner Tallman.
Schneider.
Here.
Lammers.
Present.
Med. Johnson.
Here.
Tallman here. Ingram.
Present.
Hepner.
Here.
Bransgard.
Here.
Reinhardt.
Here.
Manus.
Here.
And Garrington. I think he was there. Are you muted, Garrington? Okay, that's good enough.
He raised his hand.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Tallman. Report of City Council activity, Matt.
There's nothing more to report.
Thank you. Secretary's report.
Move report.
Second.
Report's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the report as written, please signify by aye.
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 Any opposition? Hearing none, it will stay as printed. Report of comp plan, Matt, anything new?
Nothing.
Thank you. We will move on to zoning activity, Commissioner Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One case under new business tonight, that's case REZ 20-05. Request of Reverend Richard Hazlett to rezone 508 through 510 Marquette Street from R4C single and two-family central residential district to C1 neighborhood commercial district.
I would move.
Staff recommends.
Hold on a second.
Staff recommends case REZ 20-05 to be forwarded to the City Council with a recommendation for approval subject to the three listed findings, and I so move.
Second.
Case number REZ 20-05 has been moved and seconded for discussion. Matt?
Just real briefly, we reviewed this case at the public hearing at the last meeting. Very simply put, this is adjacent to the Christ Apostolic Church. They would like to rezone the property to C1 in order to allow them to build a parking lot. Since it's not on the same lot, it's actually across the right-of-way. A standalone parking lot is not allowed in the R4C district.
Anything additional, Matt?
So we're just waiting for the PowerPoint to kick in. Again,
Okay.
Here's the property. It shows the zoning in the area. This property is zoned residential, as I mentioned, but in this area of Marquette, there's a considerable amount of commercial and industrial mixed-use zoning. Well, I'm not doing a slideshow, but anyway, again, on the edge of, as far as the comprehensive plan goes, residential general, which, as I've said multiple times, it does not mean exclusively residential, does allow and call for lower intensity commercial and more commercial uses along the edges, particularly along arterial streets, and Marquette is an arterial. We reached out to the neighborhood like we always did. We notified property owners within 200 feet. We placed the sign on the property. We attempted to have a neighborhood meeting. We had a public hearing at the Plan and Zoning Commission. No one spoke, and there were no other comments received. And given that information and a staff recommendation, we indicated to the petitioner that both the chair and myself didn't believe that there was a real strong reason for Reverend Hazlett to come down today. So again, we do recommend approval, the 3 findings, consistency with the comp plan, the parking is needed, and the rezoning, we do not believe will negatively impact the neighborhood. With that, this will move on to council, and the public hearing at the committee of the whole will be July 1st. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Matt. Commissioners, any questions at this time? Hearing none, would anybody in the audience like to step forward and speak either in favor of or opposition to this petition? Seeing none, last call for commission questions. Hearing none, roll call, please, Commissioner Tallman.
Schneider,
Yes.
Lammers,
Yes.
Med. Yes. Johnson,
Yes.
Tallman, yes. Hepner,
Yes.
Bransgard,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Manus,
Yes.
and Garrington.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Tallman.
And that concludes the zoning activity report.
Thank you. We will move on to subdivision activity. Again, Commissioner Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under new business, case F20-05 and P20-01. Before I go any further, Mr. Chairman and the rest of the commission, these 2 cases are lumped together. They're being presented together. However, to keep things clean, we will vote on them separately. So we will start after I read this with the preliminary, the P20-01, just FYI for everybody out there.
Thank you for that clarification, Commissioner Tallman.
Okay, going on then. Case F20-05 and P20-01 of Townsend Engineering for a final and preliminary plat being Casey Kimberly Hills addition on 8.57 acres, being a replat of Lot 1 of Westgate 13th Edition. What did I say, Lot 1?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, being a replat of Lot 2 of Westgate 13th Edition, located north of West 37th Street and North Birchwood Avenue intersections, plat to contain 33 single-family lots. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission forward case P20-01 to the City Council with a recommendation for approval, subject to the listed 6 conditions, and I would so move.
Go back to that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Who seconded? I didn't get who.
Who seconded?
Reagan did first.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That being said, case number F20-05 and P20-01 has been moved and seconded for discussion, but we're going to work on P20-01 first. Scott, are you doing a presentation?
For those of you who have the packet, there are quite a few conditions, so I just will say it right up front, this will not be going to council until we're absolutely certain that all these conditions have been met. But we do recommend in favor of the preliminary plat and the final plat. And I would, open up to any kind of
Okay,
questions.
thank
may
you,
have.
Scott. Would commissioners have any questions at this time? Hearing
This
none.
is Reagan.
Okay, Reagan, Commissioner Johnson.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to know from staff if they have any concerns about any of those conditions being met in a timely manner.
I think they can meet all of them. There's one that might be a little expensive for them or might change their plans slightly, is they need a turnaround on West 38th Place where it leads to the west.
Okay.
So they should be able to accomplish that. They may lose a lot or so, but they can do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions before I seek comment from the petitioner?
And Mr. Chair, Susan,
Go ahead, Commissioner Lammers.
I just wondered, after hearing Scott state that they have to address all the conditions before it will move to council, is there an urgency that it be to council in the next round, or should we be waiting until there's assurance that all the conditions are being met?
Well, this is typically how we do it, where there's conditions they need to meet, and then once they meet them, we bring it on to council. The only difference between this plat and any other one is there's just a few more conditions that I've seen in a long time. So, but we do that with every plat.
Okay, I agree. I was concerned about the number of conditions, so that's why I asked.
Thank you, Commissioner Lammers. Any additional questions? Seeing none, would the petitioner like to speak?
Yeah, my name's Chris Townsend with Townsend Engineering, and I'm here with my client Hong Lee's assistant Jim. And those conditions, really, we've addressed every single one except for that. And we have addressed that turnaround. We're working on a couple options, but this is pretty urgent. He would like to get this, like to even get a grading plan early. We're almost completed with our construction drawings already. So we will be getting that back in immediately and pursuing this aggressive schedule just because he wants to get this in this season. I think, and Mr. Lee can talk to you a little bit if you'd like to about that, but we're fine with the conditions and we've already done most of them, so.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Would the petitioner like to speak? That's fine. Does anybody on the commission have any questions for either Mr. Townsend or the petitioner? Would anybody else in the audience like to speak? Seeing none, final questions from the commission? Seeing none, roll call please, Commissioner Tallman.
Okay, and again, to remind everyone, this is this is for the first case, P20-01. Lammers.
Yes.
Med? Yes. Johnson?
Yes.
Tallman, yes. Hepner?
Yes.
Ransgard?
Yes.
Reinhardt?
Yes.
Manus?
Yes.
Garrington?
Yes.
And Schneider.
Yes.
That motion carries, Mr. Chairman. And then the last half of this case is then, staff recommends that the City Planning and Zoning Commission forward case F20-05 to the City Council with a recommendation for approval subject to the 10 listed conditions, and I so move.
Case number F20-05 has been moved and seconded for discussion. Any additional comments, Scott?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Again, would the petitioner or their representative like to add anything? Seeing none, would anybody on the commission have another question or two? Seeing none, we will move on to roll call for case F20-05, the final plat. Commissioner Tallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Med?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Tallman, yes. Hepner?
Yes.
Branscard?
Yes.
Reinhardt?
Yes.
Manus?
Yes.
Garrington?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
And Lammers.
Yeah.
That motion carries. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report.
Thank you, Commissioner Tallman. It appears as though we have one case for our next meeting. Appears to be a final plat again from Townsend Engineering, if you'd like to research that. Huh? Okay. Yeah, go ahead and bill him. My brother works there, go for it. That actually is an IMEG situation. Any communication, staff, anybody?
It's going to be one of those, this is a 3 Plan and Zoning Commission meeting month, which is always fun.
Yep.
And the so we'll be meeting on the last day of June. Sadly, we'll only have one meeting in July.
True.
All I have.
And are we trying to open this up to the full commission now, or
I believe, I think we're still trying to, employ the social distancing with a full dais. That may mean that some members may sit down at the conference table with the new audio system. It's a pretty good omnidirectional microphone, so it should work pretty well.
I was actually here for a council meeting prior, and they did that. They had 2 or 3 members sitting at the table, and you could hear everybody very well. So I would encourage all those that could be here next meeting to be in attendance, but yet we will still work with you if you're concerned about the distancing and whatnot. We fully understand. Any additional thoughts, Matt?
No, it's weird being up here and not being on camera. I could do about anything.
You could. I could cut you off, too.
Keep it clean, man.
Any additional communication from anybody? Any additional business?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
If we're going to be in person, are masks required?
You can wear a mask.
Okay.
Absolutely. We have no problem with that. No. It's not mandatory, but if you prefer to wear one, that's totally acceptable.
Thank you.
I would also like to, with everything going on in the world and everybody's life is really busy right now, I want to let all of the commission know, and those of you there in the audience, that this commission does me proud at every meeting. I swear, Matt tells me that we always seem to have the best attendance of any of the city's commissions, and you guys all do me proud, and I really appreciate your diligence to be here, to take time out of your day. This meeting's only lasting 15 minutes or whatever, and for those of you that drove down here, those of you that figured out how to log in, I want to personally thank each and every one of you, and you're doing the city proud. It makes me proud. With that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? We are therefore adjourned. See you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Bob.